Welcome back. We are here at Woodstock Guitar Guy. I am here with my guitars. It is Firebird Appreciation Day here at Woodstock Guitar Guy. And I got a couple of them. These are both copies, kits. They were kits I built myself with my own hands, finished them myself. They're mahogany. I got another one here I'm going to bring up. They're a very historic model of guitar, which is why I personally, gravitate towards them. Is that they have this really interesting history, and of course they don't look like any other guitar on the planet, which is something I take very, literally. I really like the idea that it's different. The Firebird was created essentially as a competition for Fender, who was eating Gibson's lunch. So Gibson created the Firebird as a way to kind of maybe get back some of their market share that they were losing. People were tired of Les Pauls. They wanted something flashier, and the Stratocaster and the Telecaster were both pretty cool guitars, So they went, and a guy by the name of Ted McCarty was running Gibson at the time, and he had designed some interesting guitars. I think the Explorer was one of his, and the Modern. We know now that he designed something, some abomination called the Theodore, which I don't know, maybe someday I'll get one in here, but I don't know about that. They're the strangest looking guitar of all time. But he reached out to a guy who designed automobiles to come up with a guitar design. And this is what they came up with. And it sort of mimics the large fenders, get it, on the cars of the time in the late 50s, early 60s. They all had these big wing fenders, that stuck out. So it was sort of like an unconscious or subtle message that, we're going to take on Fender by creating a guitar that looks like fenders, get it? Car fenders. And they did. And the first guitars were mahogany and walnut, and they had neck-through design. They had the necks had 5 pieces of mahogany and 4 pieces of walnut in between. I think there were 9 pieces altogether, and it would run the whole length of the body. Now, my attraction to these particular styles of guitar goes back to when I was a kid. And the very first really good guitar that I ever owned, after the Kent, which was not exactly a very good guitar, the very first good guitar I ever owned was a Firebird, and it was a Mark I. And it had one single pickup under the, near the bridge. It had a volume and a tone, but it was mahogany, and it had that 9-piece or 7-piece, whatever it is, built up neck through arrangement, and it was cool. I thought it was the greatest thing. It wasn't the easiest guitar to play, and I didn't know much about setting them up at that time, but I really liked the feel. The weight is nice. It's balanced. You can get way up top here, and I like it. I really like the design. That particular guitar had banjo tuners, unlike these. It had banjo tuners on the back, and it was very prone to falling over, because if you notice, the bottom has a curve on it. Now, we didn't have tons of guitar stands back then like we do now. I've got a dog barking. I'm going to take a break here. See how I did that? Little dog barking, a little break in the action, and I'm back with a different but similar Firebird. Now, as I was saying, they've got this weird kind of curve in the bottom, and if you lean them up, which, you know, we didn't have the guitar stands like we do now that will hold anything basically. And somebody got into our practice room when I was a kid and my band, and somebody was playing the guitar and somebody leaned it up. I wasn't even around, and I went to play the guitar, pulled it out of the case, and I said, "What's going on? All the strings are loose." And someone had knocked it over and broken the headstock, which apparently was very common with Firebirds. And so I got it fixed once, broke again. I got it fixed a second time. Then I got rid of the guitar. I don't know where it ever ended up, but I always missed it. And I won't even tell you what I paid for it. It was like, let's just say it was less than $100 for a Mark I 1964. Today it's probably worth $5,000, but easy come, easy go, I guess, is the story of the guitar world. So I set out, when I got going here with the modifying and getting back into playing electric guitar and all of that sort of thing, I set out to build a kit. And the first kit I wanted to build was a Firebird. So that is this. This was a kit, just like the other one. This was a kit that came probably from China, and it's all mahogany. I had never built a guitar kit before. It was a completely new experience for me. They come with no directions. So you got to go on YouTube, you got to look around, you got to, you got to educate yourself on how to get these things put together, finished. I learned so many mistakes building this particular guitar, and this guitar took me, I would say, 3 years at least to finish, or to get to where I was happy with it. I'm still fiddling with real fine tuning kind of stuff with it. I was adjusting the nut last night, which is, I believe it's plastic, but it had to be adjusted nonetheless. I had two major problems with this kit. The first problem was the wood, which is mahogany, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous, don't get me wrong. And it's a set neck, as you can see. I had to glue it in and all of that sort of jazz. But the wood was hard as a rock. I mean, I literally was breaking drill bits trying to put screws in, I was breaking the heads off of screws. This thing, I couldn't, I tried to route the cavities a little bit to make them bigger so I could fit like a different kind of pickup in there. Hard as a rock. Now, in retrospect, I think that has served me very well, because this guitar is extremely stable. It really resonates. It's got some cool mojo going on. I probably couldn't put a dent in it if I tried. And so all's well that ends well on the hardwood part of it, but I wouldn't do it again. Let's just put it that way. It was a real bear to take this on, having known very little about building guitars. The other piece of this was the finish, and I got ahead of my skis, and I bought a bunch of this stuff called Solars, which is designed for surfboards. And I said, that's what I need. I need the finish of a surfboard on my Firebird guitar, my surf casting Firebird. And so if you've ever worked with solars, and I would recommend you really study up on it before you do, what triggers it to start hardening after you apply it is ultraviolet light. And the way they describe working with it is you put it on basically in the dark, literally in the dark, and take it outdoors, and it will instantly dry. It'll catalyze from the sun. I thought all of this was very cool, but I simply could not do this in the dark. I've worked in dark rooms. We always had a light of some sort of, safety light, I think they were called. I didn't have a safety light, but I did have an LED light, a little tiny work light that I could hardly see what I was doing. And I ran into trouble immediately. The LED apparently puts off ultraviolet and started drying the finish, and I ended up with a real disaster on my hands, and I had to sand the whole thing down again, and oi, oi, oi. It just went on and on and on until I just got, a rattle can of white paint, white enamel, and sprayed it up nice and put coats of poly on top, and I like it. I really like it. I've got about, I don't know, 200 hours into it maybe, or something. I mean, I got a lot of time into this guitar, maybe more. I've gone through trying to find the right, here's something to keep in mind. When you have a guitar stock, right, where it's a left-handed guitar stock on a right-handed guitar, you still have to put left-handed tuners on it. I can't tell you. I mean, I did everything wrong the first time on this particular guitar. And so this is probably the third or fourth set of tuners that I've finally put on here that work and work properly. It's got push-pull pots, and I put the GFS Filtertrons in here, which can be split. It's got a really cool sound. We'll hear some of it going out. It's my first, my first love. This guitar was my first kit. This was I think my last kit. I don't think I'm going to do any more kits after this one. And this one, first of all, it's lighter. The wood is easier. Was easier to work with. I got this kit. I won an auction. Okay, I got into an auction online from the company that makes these kits. They were getting rid of a bunch of them, and I got the low bid. And I was like, yahoo! And very, very happy with the way this went together. Basically when you get these kits, you take the pickups that come with the kits and the wiring, most of the hardware, you just get rid of it. You're basically buying it for the wood and the neck and the frets and the pearloid inlay. And so I put very inexpensive pickups from Guitar Madness in here. That's what we were listening to on the way in. And I like them. I like them a lot. They've got a really nice bite to them. And I believe they are mini humbuckers, but I didn't put the split on here. And they're also a little microphonic, which I kind of like, actually. I don't have any other pickups in any of my guitars that are microphonic. I asked a friend of mine, what do I paint it? And he said I would go with TV yellow. So, because we've never seen a Firebird with TV yellow. So that's what we did. That's what I did at his recommendation. I didn't do the neck in TV yellow. I did it in just a regular stain, and then I wiped it down here. The whole thing was like really dark. Where is this? It was really dark, like all here, you know. And I didn't like it, so I wiped it down, got more of a, you know, a worn finish on there, which is cool. And then I sprayed nitro cellulose, which I've done a few guitars in nitro. I like the finishes, but I don't like working with nitrocellulose. It's a very heavy material, very heavy fumes, VOCs. You got to wear a mask. You got to be totally protected. It takes a long time to dry, to cure. Weeks. It takes weeks to cure. But when it's done, it's pretty nice. And you just put on thin coats. This has probably got maybe 3 thin coats on it. I never buffed it up. I never polished it. I could, I suppose, at this point. But that said, you know, I think appreciating our Firebirds is a good thing. I like, they probably didn't intend this, but you know, this jag right here where my elbow is, when you're playing this thing, you gotta, basically you got an armrest. And maybe Johnny Winters was hip to this too, because he played a Firebird for many years. Mike Campbell plays one now too, you know. And you got a little armrest, which is kind of cool because it frees up your wrist to kind of go crazy. You're not like holding it out. It's sort of, you're leaning it on the top, you know, which I like. But anyway, that's our Firebird story for the day. They're still making them. There's one particular model I'm interested in trying out, which is made by Epiphone. They're doing a kind of a recreation of the neck through Firebird. Again, this is a set neck. It's not neck through. But Epiphone has a version now of the inspired by Gibson Firebird. They don't seem very popular. I see a lot of used ones, and they're really hawking the new ones, and they don't seem to be going anywhere. So I'm biding my time. I'm going to wait it out, see what happens if I can pick one up on the cheap. You know, somewhere in the $300 range is that's kind of my sweet spot. We'll see how that goes. That said, I just want to say, be nice to your Firebird. Don't lean it up against the wall. Even these headstocks will break, I am sure, if this thing comes crashing down. I got, you know, I'm looking for a non-reverse. This is the reverse Firebird. This is the original. I'm looking for the non-reverse, which is, we'll do a whole thing on that once I get one in here. I'm looking for a copy, and I'll modify it. I'll get one that's all pre-built, pre-finished and everything, and then strip the pickups. And I've really learned my lesson with the kit building that I just think, you know, if you can buy a really nice piece of wood, nice neck on it, nice finish on it, the wiring and the pickups and even the bridge and the tuning pegs and all of that stuff, you know, you can upgrade, get like top quality if you want, and away you go. Because you know, once it plays great, once the weight is good, once the wood is good and it resonates and all of that sort of jazz, you're halfway there, or 3/4 of the way there. So, all right. So next time we'll have a surprise, and it's going to be hit subscribe, hit join, hit like, hit share, send me a comment, share this with your buddies. We're trying to, what I'm trying to do is build this up so I kind of get a little, you know, get the word out to more people. You know, that's really what I'm all about. I don't get anything for doing this. I'm doing it out of the sheer joy of doing it. But you can also listen to my music, which is fine too. I got a lot of music out there. I got some electric, I got a lot of folk, and, you know, Americana and Gonna do some blues here before too much longer. So thank you again for tuning in. We're gonna go out with I guess we're gonna use the white Firebird going out, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.